Cooper Webb is back, dog. Oh, what's up, my dudes? Okay, so Cooper Webb, after, taking that little trip to Indonesia, as he would say. Other than that, at Anaheim 1, Cooper Webb looks the best that we've seen him on this Star Yamaha thus far, okay? I knew that he eventually would look like the Cooper Webb that we know him to be. I just didn't know how long it was actually going to take, you know what I'm saying? But I think there was a lot of people maybe a little caught off guard that Cooper Webb was riding that good at Anaheim 1, like already right away. I just don't think a lot of people necessarily had Cooper Webb in the position to be passing the guy to go for second place in the main event. I just don't necessarily think, the majority of people out there were thinking that. Obviously, Cooper Webb fans were probably thinking it, but, I just think in general, that was a bit of a shocker seeing Cooper Webb be that good, that quick. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we all know Cooper Webb did amazing back in his 250 days on that Star Yamaha. So I knew it was just going to be a matter of time until he figured it out on the Star Yamaha on the 450. Like, I knew he would figure that out at some point. I just didn't know, like I say, I just didn't know how long it was going to take. I kind of thought it would have took him, at least midways through this season to get it totally figured out. So that's actually a pretty big deal that Cooper Webb had already got that figured out on the Star Yamaha to at least be at that kind of podium speed level. It would not shock me at all if Cooper Webb wins the Supercross championship in 2024 straight up. I mean, I know a lot of people are thinking Jett Lawrence at this point, but I'm kind of getting that vibe like Jett Lawrence is going to have a lot of good races, but I also think he's going to have a couple of doozies. I think he's going to have a couple of wrecks. I think there's going to be a couple more things to Jett Lawrence's Supercross championship than just perfection, you know what I'm saying? I just got that feeling like Webb is going to be a little more consistent overall through all of the rounds, and even Chase Sexton, he's looking pretty consistent on that KTM, but yeah, man, I mean, Cooper Webb wasn't no joke in that main event, bro. He wasn't no joke in that main event. He was catching up to Jason Anderson in second place. Actually, I think he made the pass on Jason Anderson. He was, being pretty respectful and, kept from just, blowing Anderson completely off of the track. Unfortunately, in the very next corner, it's kind of like Anderson just went right back up in on Cooper Webb. He was really trying to protect that position because it's been a while since, even Jason Anderson got that good of a, finish in a main event. So, but yeah, it was looking like Cooper Webb was easily going to be getting second place in that main event. Then he comes over the, tiniest jump on the track, literally like a 4.2 foot tabletop. I don't know how it completely ended Cooper Webb and Nate Thrasher. The jump I'm talking about, literally like a 5 foot tabletop, boys. They're out there hitting triples and quads and all kinds of shit. The smallest 5 foot tabletop, I swear to God, gave them more problems than anything else on the track. But yeah, they literally did the exact same thing. Cooper Webb and Nate Thrasher did the exact same thing over that jump. They just hit like a weird kick, coming around the corner. It's kind of like a little hip tabletop style jump, and it just sent them straight to Indonesia, bro. They just endoed, but it happened to hurt, or it was a lot worse for Nate Thrasher. It ended up being a lot worse for him, I think, because he kind of just walked off of the track, whereas Cooper Webb got back on the bike. I'm not even sure where Cooper Webb finished at the end of that main event. What was it, like 6th or something like that? But he was well on his way to get a second place in that race, for sure, bro. So, this is a pretty good sign for Cooper Webb right here. I mean, as far as racing, we all know he's not just the most lightning fast dude out there, but as far as racing goes, I mean, just like if you would have considered maybe Jett Lawrence not having that good of a start, I mean, Cooper Webb could have gave him a run for his money, for sure. For sure. There ain't no doubt about it. Cooper Webb looks like he's in championship form right now, dude. And it looks like he's... I was kind of worried about that a little bit, like when we were first seeing Webb on the Star Yamaha, it was kind of he didn't look quite as good as he looked on the KTM, but he has definitely figured out something. It just looks like he's totally figured out something that he was missing when he very first got back on the Star Yamaha 450. I don't know what that is necessarily, but he's looking like the guy for Star Yamaha right now, dude. Like, straight up. Tomac kind of finished a lackluster, what was it, like an 8th or 9th place? I don't really know what's going on there. You would assume Tomac would do better in the next rounds. I'm not sure, obviously, with the injury that he had and all that, but Webb's looking like he's straight up going to be in the championship fight the whole year. It's kind of looking like, to me, it's probably going to come down between, like Jett Lawrence, Cooper Webb, Chase Sexton. Those are probably going to be more of your in it for the championship all the way through the championship. That's just what it looked like to me from round 1, Anaheim 1. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about it. But yeah, looks like Webb's back, boys. Webb is all the way back, boys. He's damn near got that Star Yamaha on the 250 kind of vibe going on. That's kind of what he looked like to me. He may even look a little more comfortable on the Star Yamaha 450 than he was on, like, the KTM. You guys remember on the KTM? I mean, yeah, he had some good races. Obviously, 2 championships. That's nothing to, sweep under the rug. But he just, I don't know, he didn't have that same, like, Cooper Webb, I guess, freeness on the bike that he had when he was on the Star Yamaha 250 or something. I don't really know. And I've never seen somebody get on that KTM and look the same way that they looked when they were on one of the Japanese manufactured bikes. It's just, they just look a little bit different on it for some reason. Like, obviously the different frame and all that, but I'm just saying, this is going to be real interesting looking at Cooper Webb in these future rounds and seeing if he can, maybe even get to a bit of a more wicked level than he even was on that KTM 450. You know what I mean? Because this is a totally different kind of Yamaha than what Webb was on that Yamaha 450 that he was on before he went to KTM. That was not Star Yamaha. You know what I'm saying? That was like a completely different Yamaha team there. So, yeah, I'd been predicting that Webb was going to go back to Star Yamaha for a few years now. I mean, I've been thinking that for, like, seriously, probably like 3 or 4 years at this point. And it just seemed like that's where he would go to me, just because of him having all that history there. He basically was one of the big pioneers of Star Yamaha, like in the 250 class, back in the 2014, maybe even 15 days. I can't remember exactly what years those was, but he was bad to the bone on that Star Yamaha 250. I mean, he's bad to the bone, bro. So I'm hoping that we can see that same sort of Cooper Webb come back out, and that's exactly what he looked like at Anaheim 1 on this Star Yamaha. And it's the first race. What is it, his first Supercross race on it? I'm pretty sure, right? Because he went to KTM. I think he raced the Supermotocross on the Star Yamaha. That's where he was a little bit lackluster, but it's the first real... I mean, he's got to only get better from here. You just imagine him only getting better from there, and there ain't no way Jett Lawrence is going to get that good of a start in every single main event. And also, Jett Lawrence didn't really have to worry about anybody up there like Ken Roczen, or even Chase Sexton didn't get the most amazing start ever, which would have probably slowed down Jett Lawrence a little bit. He just got a good start, and everybody else was a little further back, and it sort of allowed, Jett Lawrence to have that breathing room up there. But you know how Cooper Webb is when he starts getting in those main event battles. I mean, I think we're going to see some interesting stuff out of, like, Cooper Webb being able to catch up to a Jett Lawrence battling with the Sexton out front, or Jett Lawrence battling with the Ken Roczen out front. And then you got Cooper Webb, you know, lurking in the background, and all of a sudden he's there like on the last couple laps. I think you're going to see a lot of that kind of shit in 2024. So, yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and say it right now. I think there's probably a solid, I'm going to give Cooper Webb at least a 69% chance of winning the Supercross Championship in 2024. At least a 69% chance. Yeah, that's where I'm sitting on it. I just think I don't know. Like, I think Jett's going to have a lot of good rides. I really do. I think he's going to win a lot more races, but championship-wise, I just don't know. I think, he kind of had that weird mistake in the heat race where he crashed. I just think Jett's going to have a couple of up and down races this year that's going to, knock him back a little bit in points, and some of your more seasoned guys at this point, like Webb and, Sexton, for instance. I feel like they've kind of learned from their crashing. They know what it takes to stay in it points-wise for a 17-round Supercross series. Jett Lawrence has never even been through that before. So I just got this vibe like Cooper Webb is going to be up there when it counts at the end of the year. You know what I mean? I just got that weird sneaking suspicion that he's going to be up there like that. I could be totally wrong. Like I say, definitely let me know what you guys think about it. But yeah, man, either way, I had to make a video on Cooper Webb because it was, it was, he might have been one of the best looking in the sense of like moving up and passing, that sort of a vibe. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like the kind of Webb that is going for this thing, man. It don't just look like a Webb that's trying to learn the Star Yamaha, or it's going to take him a few rounds or something. It looked like he's already going for it, bro. He's already thinking he's going to go out there and win that championship. You know what I mean? That's just the vibe that I got from the way he was riding out there. Yeah, he should have got second place in that race. I think him trying to pass, Jason Anderson, and Anderson really running back in on him again right after kind of tricked him up a little on his flow. That's just kind of what it seemed like to me. And then he started maybe feeling like he had to push over his head a little bit, aka then causing him to endo over that little tabletop. So, but he was well on his way, man. He was well on his way, and I think that's all we're going to see is more of that in 2024. Sometimes it's not necessarily the guys that you expect. I felt like a lot more people were expecting maybe like Tomac or, obviously Jett Lawrence was up there, but I don't necessarily think everybody thought Cooper Webb was going to look that good at Anaheim 1. I just don't think a lot of people were thinking that, But he certainly, he proved it, dude. He proved he's got it going on, man. He's not the Cooper Webb we saw at Supermotocross on the Star Yamaha. He's a different guy. He's a different level. He's back on that level where he's got just as much of a chance as anybody else has. You know what I'm saying? So, either way, man, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. I'll see y'all boys on that next one. Later, big dogs.